zodiac system operates on a 12-year rotational cycle, with an animal representing each year. And 2022 is the year
Yeah,
of
blessed love to each and every
the
one.
tiger. Here on the African continent, we have the kings of the savannah,
For those who will be watching this on the
and in
replay,
China, tigers are considered
rebroadcast,
the
give
king
thanks to
of
the life
all
giver and the keeper of life.
While tigers are not
We're in
indigenous
tune
to
with
Africa,
Radio
there are a lot
Anu
of
at this
similarities
time,
with significance that both animals hold. In several
and we are
African
just
countries, lions
giving thanks
symbolize
and waiting
courage
for
and wisdom.
the rest of the
And
family to
those
come
born
in
in
on the
these
line.
also thought to be brave and also display great levels of willpower. They're also considered to be competitive, unpredictable, and confident. What does the year of the
You
tiger
may not
have
be
in store for
hearing
us? Well, this is a year for big changes.
the actual
According to the
broadcast
tiger
that
zodiac system,
that I'm
this
running
is a
here.
year to take risks and go on
We're
adventures.
speaking about the
It
year of
sounds
the tiger.
exactly like my type of year.
Give me a guidance.
I can't wait to see what this year's big changes has in store for us. For now, I'm Akita.
All right, blessed love. Yes, those of you on the YouTube, give thanks again for your presence and give thanks for such joy and give thanks for happiness as we go through. At this moment here, today is the 1st of February. And the 1st of February is, well, February itself, an interesting month. So the 1st of February would be considered the first day in Black History Month, of course. Some people call February the month of love. I wonder what the other months are. And it's a very interesting month where it is the month that has the 28-day cycle. Now, of course, other months would have, 30 days and 31 days, at least in the calendar that we are talking about here. But the month of February, interestingly, has 28 days. Now, at this moment, the 1st of February, we are observing, I would use that terminology, observing the New Year, the Chinese New Year, being the 1st of February. But what is interesting about the Chinese New Year, pardon me, it is not the 1st of February every year. No, it has to do with the moon. And it has to do, as you know, tonight really, or today, is basically the new moon. And the new moon itself is when the sun and the moon, when they are literally traveling together. So at this moment here, basically coming off of a new moon is what we are going through now. So this is why when this is why you have that whole New Year cycle now for the Chinese. Very good. Now, I'm saying that this year is considered to be the year of the tiger. And of course, in the Chinese, for those of you on the radio Anu, you would have heard clearly the short news clip where the sister was explaining that the whole aspect of the Chinese New Year has a lot to do with the whole aspect of their zodiac. So you have different animals in their zodiac, the ox and the rabbit and the dragon and the snake and the horse, the sheep and monkey and rooster and rat and so on. But the tiger obviously standing out there. This year now is the year where the tiger is recognized. So of course, this is the tiger's nest. So we definitely give thanks for such. Now, of course, many ones would hear this and be quick to jump and say, oh, well, no, man, we ain't into no Chinese thing and we not into no dragon thing and no rabbit thing and all of that thing. All right. And this is why now we want to balance this off. Now, first of all, what is interesting, before we go too deep, because we're going there, but what is interesting is that as Bobo Shanti Rastafari, we celebrate our New Year on the 7th of February. And the 7th of February now is, just a few days from now. Now, what is interesting is that it's a fixed date. It is the fixed date. It's February the 7th. It doesn't fluctuate. But when you observe, for example, the Chinese New Year, which is not just the Chinese New Year, it stands out as the Chinese New Year because of China. You understand? But this is an ancient custom, what is known as the Lunar Year. It's not the Chinese year, man. It is the Lunar Year. It just so happens that the Chinese, just like Kung Fu and Karate and these different things, they don't necessarily belong to the Chinese. Just like yoga and Tai Chi and these different arts, they don't necessarily belong to the Taiwanese and the Indians. Yes, they may have preserved it for a long time, but these are originally, from the African stock. And that is just the reality of it. So I'm just showing you that lunar year understanding is an anciency, very ancient vibration. And you may ask, so how old and where did the Chinese get it from? Well, obviously where they got all the other ancient arts from. This is why we did the lecture when we Africa, the Africans' presence in our civilizations, and we were showing you, of course, even the art of martial art and the kung fu art and and all of these different things. Previous night or last night, as we call it, on the same Tiger's Nest, we were talking about yoga and its African root. You with me? We were talking about yoga previous night and the African root of yoga. You understand? So when you really follow this vibration good, it is not as if we're trying to paint everything African. Some people have that idea like, oh, you want to make everything black. That's not what it is. That's not what it is. I've explained this several times that we are people. We never really stress the black stuff. Yes, we may talk about the black god. We may talk about the black king and all of that, and this and the black ancestry and the black land and so forth and so forth. But before time, we never really stressed that. It wasn't. No, it was just what it is. But somebody came along and took the truth, because the truth was, that the essence of the original man was the black man. That's really what it is. We never boast of it. We never pushed it in nobody's face, but that's just what it is. The original concept of a God is a black God. That's really what it is. We never forced it on no one. We never pushed it in anyone's face. When the Greeks came amongst us and they went back to Greece and painted Zeus and the fellas black, we didn't enforce that upon them. They just said, hey, this is the real deal. So it's not us. But what I'm saying now, someone came in and said, hey, let's paint this a different color. Let's change the story a bit. Let's move the ethnicity from here to there. So obviously we have to stand up and say, well, no, here it is. This is the wrong expression here. This is the wrong picture you have on the wall. If you're talking about the Savior, this could not be him, because he wasn't born where you're saying this fella here is born. No offense, but he was not a Caucasian. No. In fact, this was not the language he was speaking. In fact, I could show you where he was really born, and his parents' ethnicity and his root. If you say he's from this lineage and that lineage, that's a black lineage. So this is why we have to stress these things and say that, well, this is a black culture, and talk about our black ancestry and our black history and push our Afrocentricity, even though to people have to be speaking about African History Month, And it's not that we're trying to paint things black. That's just what it is. So the original point is that the ancient martial arts, including the yoga, is of African roots. So you look at the Kemetic walls, you see, the Ma'at and Anpu, doing the different Kemetic stance, doing the different Kemetic postures. Even previous night we were speaking of the posture asana, and the narrator, pardon me, of the documentary that we were listening to was speaking of the whole science of the asana being, the throne, and speaking of the asana having to do with sitting erect and being able to sit erect and concentrate for a very long time. Asana. Now, what is interesting is that asana sounds very close to aset. And if you notice, aset's symbol is the throne. I wonder if you're following me. You there? Aset. I'm talking about the Kemetic deity, the Kemetic goddess Aset, considered to be the wife of Asar, which is Osiris. What I'm saying is that Aset is seen with the throne on her head. Follow me good, eh? And some consider that the throne, the throne on her head is the seat of power for her husband, which is Asar, which is Osiris. Follow me good. So Aset is the throne. Good. And in yoga, asana is the throne, and seated and postured proper breathing and, you know, inhaling and inspiration and all of that stuff. Inspiration is when you take a deep breath. Inspiration, it inspires you when you take a deep breath. So I'm just showing you the link, how you could connect them together, because one came from the other. In fact, previous evening, for those who were with us in the Tiger's Nest, you notice how we took time to even break down the language and to show you the connection with the language, and how the language is, you know, all from a one root, really. So that's why you have your Amharic and your Arabic and your Amharic and all of these different things. It's almost like brothers there, but they come from a single parent, which is the northeastern Meduneter. You know, the picture graph before it came into the cursive, the how is it again? The demotic and the Coptic writing itself. You know, until it became the different cursive writings that we have. I don't know who they tried to curse. They have cursive writing, and you have a cursor on the screen and all of these different things. But yeah, so I'm just trying to show you now that a lot of things came out of a root, and our history shows us this, and you should never be ashamed to acknowledge this, you know, because this, remember, a few years ago, when I just started consciousness, I was reading books that was saying Egypt was not in Africa. I said, yeah. Egypt, when they drew the Middle East, they draw Egypt and square it out and attach it to Saudi Arabia. Egypt was not in Africa. You know? So when you stress now that Egypt is in Africa, nobody can say, oh, you're biased. What do you mean? You have to stress this point because Egypt was not in Africa. Listen, when I was young, Christ was white. No. Hear me. I don't think you understand what I say. Whether you believe in Jesus, whatever, this is not about religion. I'm trying to show you a point. The Christ figure, there was no argument. Even if you may say, but he is white, Jesus is a white man. That's not my point. And I just want you to get what I am saying. When I was younger, Jesus was white. Heaven was in the sky. I'm not asking you. Heaven was in the sky and hell was underneath the earth. Now, something happened between that time and now. You know, I think it has a lot to do with knowledge and information. And a lot of people can't defend the hocus pocus anymore. So this is why you hear people now who used to tell you that Christ is white. They would tell you, oh, well, it doesn't matter what color he is now. Do you know why they're saying that? It's because their back is against the wall. And the truth is coming out. The truth is coming out. You know, is Idi Amin that said that? The truth is coming out. The false report that you've been giving me is coming out. Yeah. So that is what happened. We know no heaven in the sky. You can't fool us no more. And hell underneath the earth. So people can't run with that. That is coming off of the slave plantations when the master would tell you anything. Because remember, some of our great grandparents, that's where they were born. You know, you got to understand this thing isn't too far removed from the shackles and chains. You must understand this. This is like a renaissance happening here of knowledge and understanding and culture. So those who want to continue to hold on to the lie, remember all of the time they were telling you, yes, heaven up there, beyond the clouds. No, we know now it can't be. Well, we don't really know where it is. You used to beat people for that. Now you don't really know where it is. You used to hang people for not saying what you want them to say. Now you're saying, well, you know, well, hell may not necessarily be under the earth, but there gotta be a place somewhere. God has it somewhere, you know. So I'm just showing you how things would have changed and ideas would have changed over time with understanding. So the root of most of the cultures of good that we keep up is from the African root. You understand? But because of many different reasons, they try to cut that away from us. Again, the point, Egypt was not in Africa. The original Vishnu, the original Krishna, the original Shiva, the original Brahma, all of them is black people. We're not sharing no slides tonight, but what I'm saying, I think we have done enough programs on all of these different things. Why do you think we had to dig up and show you the 3 black popes? Which book tell you about black popes? And this could not be denied. The what else was it? The black kings of emperors of Rome. Black presidents before Obama. Why is all this stuff hidden? Why people don't want to tell you about these things here? What you hiding? Black kings and queens in England. Can you imagine that? What you hiding? So I'm just trying to show you, when you understand that there's trickery in the history department. I don't know if you work in the history department, but there's trickery in the history department. So when you hear us say that yoga came from the African stock, don't be surprised. I just showed you the I think it would be Sanskrit and how it blends with the Medunete. The 2 words very similar and have the same meaning. All of these yoga kings, the Vishnu and the Shiva, all of them were African. I wouldn't even just say black. African, ebonite people. Because some people have problems with different phrases in African, black, and, ebonites, rainbow people, melanated beings, Vishnu, Shiva. Remember, Shiva came down out of the mountains, dreadlocks on his head, and had the yoga manual in one hand and the marijuana tree in the other hand. That's the Shiva. That person may say, so weird. What does this have to do with the Chinese New Year or the year of the tiger and King Emmanuel? How that mix up? Is King Emmanuel part I want to hear about? I'm sure you know I'm well aware of that. Of course, we're well aware of that. So what are we talking about here? We did a documentary about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. King Emmanuel and the Buddha. It's right on the YouTube. I'm sure many of you would have seen it. And I see Archie Parana make a statement there, King Emmanuel, the Buddha. And what it is, especially when you highlight Shanti Diva. For those of you who have seen that documentation or have watched the documentary 7, of course, 7 is the divinity of the Honorable King Emmanuel Charles Edwards. And on 7, we take our time to explain the coming of the return of the Buddha, and we clearly showed, even in the mask of Lord Pakal, when the mask is turned around, the Buddha becomes the man with the dreadlocks and the beard, within the trinity of the Olmec man with the helmet, the ancient man with the beard and no locks, and of course the man with the beard and locks. Again, I'm sure anyone would have seen 7, if you've seen the Night of the Black Tiger, or if you just pay close attention to what we talk about, you would have an idea of what I'm talking about at this moment, for sure. And again, the figure of the Shanti Diva, to me that is so undeniable. Shanti Diva and Nagarjuna. Shanti Diva, the monk that was blessed by Nagarjuna and proclaimed high priest in the presence of all the monks. Nagarjuna, Negusa Nagasa, and Shanti Diva, the Bobo Shanti man. And not just because of these words I'm putting together. Again, when you really sit and understand the history and how it plays out and the allegory and how it connects to the modern day Haile Selassie and King Emmanuel, Shanti Diva is King Emmanuel Charles Edwards. I'm talking about the same Maruk Bull, that created the Bayon, Bull Bayon, Maruk Bull, Shanti Diva. Trust me, we cover it clean. Because remember, the Buddha himself, is not, with no disrespect, an Indian in that level there, man. And what is an Indian? Number one, them sissy looking Vishnu and Shiva. Oh yes, we're on YouTube. You can't say certain things on YouTube. You can't even say somebody is a sissy when they miss sissy. They want to take down your video. At least me anyway. But anyway, so do what you want. That's why we're streamlining on Radio Anu, the international flavor, the universal spice. I think that's where the real action is. Radio Anu, the description. In the description, you find the link. If you have never visited us on Radio Anu, man, make it your business to visit us on Radio Anu. Make it your business to visit the website, Priest Isaac Institute at gmail.com. No, that's the email. Well, give us an email too and tell us what's on your mind. Yeah, but at the same time, Priest Isaac Institute.com. Yeah, for sure. All right, good. Well, we still having problem here. Anyway, so, but what I'm saying, I'm just showing you the levels here. Give you an understanding of really who we are as a people and why they try their best to hide our history from us. So even coming forward to what I was saying a moment ago. I see Ranks Trinidad is saying King James is a black man. That's a reason that we bring up several times. We're not playing, we know everything, and we know it all and all of that, and you have to have a yes or no. That is something that I'm still looking into. I definitely ain't gonna jump up and say King James the black man just out of my head. So, but I know for sure that they have African blood lineage in some of the nobilities, and this is not guess again. We have taken our time and done proper programs on this and lectures, so those of you who are with us know exactly what we are talking about. But what I'm saying here, family, so the point is, looking at all of the anciency again, and I'm coming back to the same 7th of February, New Year. You see, when it comes to me and my reasoning, the race is not for the swift. When you hear me talking, the race is not for the swift. Sometimes it sounds like a jump from this point to that point, to that point, to that point. Everything. Trust me, I have it all here. Believe me, everything coming together. So I would have started with the 7th of February, but I end up talking about yoga and Vishnu and who look like a sissy and this and that and marijuana tree and where you going? King Emmanuel, Shanti Diva, but obviously you could see it's around a similar subject. The Orient and such. Man, when you read in the scripture, in the book of Esther chapter 1, verse 1, from the get-go of the book, it speaks about the kingdom of Ethiopia stretching all the way to India. I want you to hear this point good. The kingdom of Ethiopia stretching all the way to India. This is in the book of Esther, chapter 1, verse 1. A lot of what I'm saying here, we kind of touched upon previous night in the Tiger's Nest, but, just give thanks for a different audience at different time, and this is about teaching. But here it is. Our scholars, Ivan Van Sertima, Brother Renoko Rashidi, these ones, J.A. Rogers, Jar Rogers, they would clearly show us that the empire of India was referred to as Eastern Ethiopia. So East Ethiopia was even past Arabia. Remember Arabia and all of that, and the Levant, and so it's in between of Africa and the Oriental world. So even all of that area, because history alone shows us that. History, when you speak of the Queen of Sheba, many people argue that Sheba wasn't the queen of Africa, Ethiopia, Sheba. They tell you that she was a queen in Arabia. Why is that so? Because Arabia was a part of the kingdom. The kingdom of Seba was in Ethiopia, yes, but it was in Arabia too. The Red Sea ran between the kingdom of Seba. So yes, she was the queen of Ethiopia and still queen of Arabia, because the kingdom would have, it would have expanded thus far all the way to India, family. Eastern Ethiopia. India is referred to as Eastern Ethiopia. So let us look at some anthropology now and some genetics and these different things. That's why some people don't really get up in the color conversation, and people will tell you, well, you know, we're not really black and we're not crayons and all of that. Black is your beard. Look at your skin, it's not really black. But we know what we're talking about. We know what we're talking about. And I've always said this, and I will say it again. They have black people. I know them. When I say black, I mean black. Black. Trust me, they have black people. Now, even in India, the people that they call the untouchables, the Dravidians, them is some black people. Black people, like the color there. You find a lot of them in the southern part of India. Even that's why in Sri Lanka, the people in Sri Lanka, which is the island to the south of India, which is really India, but you know how colonialism works. That's why the people in Sri Lanka, you find a darker tone of them. They're darker than the people in northern India, which is the lighter tone, the beauty people that you see on Miss Universe and all of them kind of things there. But the black India, remember India have one of the most segregated caste system around. Follow me, eh? Remember, India have one of, caste system where not caste, but it's basically class too. So these are the lower caste or the lower class, the black people in the south of India. Remember, in India, they have African tribes living in India. Africa, not black Indians with the straight hair. Africans that you go to Africa and you see how an African look, like how I look. They have people in India. They have tribes in India. I mean, you do your research. National Geographic and so have covered this. You know what they call them people there? No, they have some African people. We were watching a documentation on that once. I'm sure I know the audience has a lot of people in there that do their research and would know exactly what I'm talking about. And these people are untouched. I think it's just the other day, some of them untouched. Just the other day, television cameras and all of these things came amongst them. So I'm just trying to show the people, that the world, man. That is why our presence can be seen all over the world. I'm talking about the melanated man and the melanated woman with this specific sort of feature and features, because we have different and diverse features though, but you know who we are. So all of these art and the anciency, how you pronounce that?
Jarawa.
The Jarawa people, exactly. Say it again.
Jarawa.
Jarawa. And them is some ancient people. Somebody need to tell them there was no J in Hebrew, so they should name themselves Jarawa. What do you think? Yeah. You see all of them things, that's why I use that. I'm not mocking it, I always tell people I don't follow the crowd. There's no J in Hebrew. But we using J in West Africa how long? John Hoy, John Hoy mean His Majesty. That's what they call Haile Selassie. John Hoy in Amharic. Remember Ge'ez is considered, Ge'ez is hieroglyphs in cursive form, Ge'ez is hieroglyphs in cursive form. Who tell us this? The grandmaster of the hieroglyphs, Emphadishi himself, Jehuti Mus. So you pronounce Jehuti Mus, right? Yeah. So when you're talking about them kind of language there, no disrespect to, the Aramic, because I already showed the Aramic, the Arabic, the Amharic, you could see. That's why there are words in them that are very similar. I don't speak the language, but I mean, in your studies, you'll pick up things. Again, like salam, salamta, and shalom, salem. These are different ways of saying peace in these same languages, peace. In English is peace. But in them ancient languages is salam and salamta and shalom or salem. and these different things. Again, the similar sound. Again, Amharic, Aramic, Arabic. You see, and they're the fathers of other languages, the Hebrew language. But now a lot of these languages come from the Syriac script. Now you see, this is the thing. Certain languages literally lean on ancient scripts. You have the Phoenician script, you have the Syriac script, you have of course the original Medu Neter, which is a script unto its own. So even when you're studying history, you have to be able to blend history with a bit of anthropology, paleontology, obviously, where a lot of these things come in, and be able to balance them off so you get a good understanding of what you're dealing with. So then now you would make a weird statement like, oh, black people don't deal with yoga. And I guess we don't deal with Kung Fu neither, and meditating and Tai Chi. We don't deal with none of them arts when we are the origin of the art. When Bodhidharma went from India to China to teach them Kung Fu, and we showed you on the walls in Mount Song, in the Shaolin Temple, the black Chinese really, sparring with the paler looking Chinese people, So listen, this is some deep stuff, family. And I'm coming to the new year right now, but I'm just trying to show you. And if you notice, I'm sticking in the Oriental world because history is a very mystic thing, eh? And I know a lot of ones don't want to hear about Bible and so, but you have to understand that even within how the story is constructed within the scripture, there's a lot of rich history right there. But you see, a lot of us, we not seeing the code at all, so we quick to want to just trade away and burn it up. We're not seeing the code. You understand? You check it. I always hear them talk about the lost tribe of Dan. The lost tribe of Dan. Do you know there's an African tribe named Dan? Nobody ever take the time to say, I wonder if them Dan here is the biblical Dan. No, it can't be them. Why? Because they see black people like these Africans. Oh yeah, you're right. We're looking for some Jews. You see, that's really what's happening. So a lot of things just get over our head. A lot of things just pass us. A lot of things just go by. Now, what I want to highlight here, keeping in mind the statue of King Emmanuel, the previous redemption healing program that Empress Naya did, and remember tomorrow, 10 in the uprising on Radio Anu is redemption healing with the yoga specialist herself. That's the Honorable Empress Naya. And the previous program that she did, she was speaking about the kundalini yoga and a lot of the other stuff we talk about, the asana being the throne and all of that. And in speaking of the kundalini yoga, she was saying that the kundalini yoga, when you partake of it, I hope I have it right, when I partake of it, and I'm sure she's in the chat too, she can correct me if I'm wrong, but when you partake of the kundalini yoga, the color for that is white. And here it is. For those of you who listen to Redemption Healing, she was speaking about it's good to cover your head when you do these practices. Because remember, the yoga is a culture again, It's not just exercise and, pastime. I'm going to do yoga, after work. But it's a culture. It's like the voodoo. It's a culture. It's not just a practice alone. It's a culture, a lifestyle. And the covering of the head. When you practice Kundalini yoga, what it does, it keeps the energy circulating within you and it doesn't escape. I said, yeah, well, I didn't know that as far as the practice of the Kundalini yoga. I'm not no yoga specialist, I'm telling you. It's similar to like when you do the what we call the Trinity, some people call it the Star of David, the hand symbol, His Majesty, usually does. There's a high science behind it, with the circulation of the energy. When you hold it up, I know a lot of people, oh, them is Freemason sign, but anyway, I wouldn't go there right now. But this is the symbol the emperor always has. When you put your fingers together like that, and even when you put your toes together, the energy you have just circulates within you. So that's why people do it when they're meditating and they're breathing. Because if you notice it, on a lot of the movies, you notice the wizard has the ability to use his powers and maybe shock you. The electricity comes out of his fingers, because some people say a man begins at the palm of his hands and ends at the sole of his feet. If you notice, there's a slight difference in how the palms are made up. The sole, as they call it, is made up in relation to the rest of the skin of the goodie. There's this when they talk about ghost stories, there's this character, I think that's the Sukono. They have a thing they call Sukono. Anybody in the Caribbean, you know about Sukono. And they say the Sukono would take off his skin and go prowling in the night, and all he leave is his palm of his hand and the sole of his feet. He or her, all kind of things. And they say if you catch the Sukono and you get the skin before you come back, you have to come back, I think, when the sun coming up, and you soak the skin in some salt, water, or vinegar or something. When Sukono come and put on his skin, you're gonna burn him. And I guess that's his judgment or whatever it is. But they say when the Sukono take off his skin, leave the palm of his hands, them skin remain, and the sole of his feet. So I'm just showing you all of that to show you, that this is reality. It's not spookism. So when you're in deep meditation and you're channeling the energy and frequency, and you put these tips together, it doesn't escape. It doesn't escape. Do you know all when you're dancing and so it's energy, that's why you have to move. It's energy and you're just flinging it about. That's why when you can hold yourself, even when you want to move, you're actually feeding and nourishing yourself on an energy that you're not letting get away. So I'm saying all of that to come back to the covering of the head. So the kundalini is wide. So number one is kundalini vibes we're dealing with, Rasta. Sabbath service. The kundalini is wide. And you must be covered, or you should be covered. Because most people don't do that. Yoga is a free thing, you put on your tights and your vest and come. Because it's exercise. But to see a man yoga in robe, I go yoga in all clothes day. Go and ask the master yogi how he yoga in all them clothes day. And his head well wrap up and band up. When he free up himself, make the sun shine. No, because he understands that the energy he created, man, the energy he like a dynamo revolving and bringing this to life, he don't want that to get away. He gonna keep it in. So what I'm showing you, that is, I always show one thing, and you could obviously see that I pride, in a sense, myself on being able to understand certain vibes, even specifically of the order that the Black Christ give us. Things that I hear people arguing about, trying to figure out. No offense to nobody, man, but trust me, man, I give thanks that certain insight has been shown. But what I'm saying is this, that again, what that is showing is not just because we want to make him sound like something. King Emmanuel does represent that Buddha that come again. I will repeat like what I said previous night. Those of you who are Bobo Shanti, within our service, our clapping and singing, there's an aspect of it where we hum and we do the I and the humming now. So for example, Sabbath morning service, we have seven hymns. Now each hymn has a humming. For those who are not of the order and may not know what I'm talking about, when you sing a hymn at a specific time of the hymn, the leading priest will ask for a humming. And he says, humming, and that means at that time you hum the hymn. So you stop singing it, you start to hum. So whatever the hymn is, you hum it. Now, the hum, if you notice again, I'm speaking of Emmanuel order, you notice that in ancient traditions, you hear about the the again, a lot of things we spoke of previous night, we are actually repeated. It's the year of the tiger, eh? Don't forget that. The orange and black cat. It is the year of the tiger, the 1st of February. Give thanks for the new moon at the same time. Enough vibration happening right now, even as we speak. All right, you're still saying into the Chinese thing. Eh? Anyway, hold on. I thought maybe you're just joining us. So the in our vernacular in the Caribbean. Well, no, in Antigua specifically. I think in Jamaica too, to some degree. Jamaicans I say give me because in Antigua we say a lot. Give me give me There are a lot of words we use that are very close to African words. As I said again, nyam. We use nyam for eat. Boy, me want something for yam. Nyam something now. I'm going to eat something now. And a lot of different words. I mean, we can go into enough something. But what I'm saying, so I don't know if in Jamaica they say You say uno. All of that is uno is not Spanish, no, uno is African too. Yeah. So the now, the is one of those names of God. Like Nyam is a name of God. Nyam is West African for God. Is the name of God. The is also a sound that is made by the bees. The bees makes the sound that's actually the sound that the bees make. And even in the Great Pyramid of Giza, the Great Pyramid of Giza makes that sound So this is very serious when you really look at it on that level there. So you're speaking to someone and you can't remember. You say in Bahamas there I ain't mocking nobody, we all about different things. In Bahamas they have a thing where they say I'm just saying I mean everybody in the Caribbean have their own little different things. Something like that they do in the Bahamas. But what I'm just showing you is the it makes you remember. Hey, I can't remember his name, because the is vibration. It's like the tuning fork when you hit it and it vibrates. So the is very important. The is the Let me just check something here. Okay, making sure everything is all right. So, engineer, just tell me something. Are we looking good here on the YouTube? Okay, sound like I wake up engineer there. All right, let me just make sure. I see. All right, positive. All right, family. Give thanks. No, just I'm just running through here and I'm looking at different things, and I just kind of came across that. People in the chat, I see something here saying your connection and wait and reconnecting, so I wasn't too sure. All right, let me just bless up all the ones in the chat. Give thanks for all loved ones, in the house. Bobo in Brooklyn, Bobo in SKB. So let me show you something here. All right. Now, as I said, the Bobo Shandy New Year is the 7th of February. A lot of ones, like they don't, how is it that Bobo Shanti have the 7th of February? Isn't the 11th of September the New Year? And Bobo always do something different, What kind of thing this Bobo thing? Then I eat this, then I eat mango, then I want a pumpkin, then New Year, this, the. But Selassie, I celebrate the 11th of September. Me want the idea, better turn the red down and Sabbath is Tuesday, all kind of things you'll get about I and I. It's all right, man. No watch nothing. Everything is blessed. And this is why sometimes we take time to show you, as the king says, Haile Selassie, one must seek for secular knowledge. One must seek for a secular knowledge. Just pardon me for the blurry video, my brethren. I see, I get you applied. Listen, man, I don't want to throw them under the bus, but I don't know if it's 1G or what we running here in the Caribbean, but just they just talking. But anyway, I don't want to stick too long on that. But yeah, so the science is deep. What I'm saying here, with understanding, yeah, man, blessed. With understanding, this is why now, as I said, the New Year part of it, 11th of September. Of course, well, I for sure celebrate the 11th of September. Do you know the 11th of September is the feast of John the Baptizer? Yeah. Well, see, you call him John the Baptist, but I don't think he was a Baptist at all. I think he was the baptizer, John the Baptizer. That in Ethiopia, that's the feast of John the Baptizer. And do you know that he's also on the 11th of September, that is considered the resurrection of Assad. So it's a very powerful day. And as I mentioned previous night, in the book, the Tutankhamun, the Pyramid Prophecies by Max Toth, it says that the last day of prophecy of the pyramid is the 11th of September, 2001, which is 9/11, as they call it. And that book was written before 9/11. I read that before 9/11. In fact, when 9/11 happened, the night after, which was the Wednesday evening, I had a program called The Mystic Vibration at that time. I went for that same book and read that, showing them like, hey, watch the vibes here. So it was some deep, deep vibes at that time there, I'm telling you, So the 11th of September in the class by itself. The 7th of February, I just explained, it's a lunar new year. It's an ancient cycle. Now, although King Emmanuel has a fixed date to it, which is the 7th of February, is not something you should quickly dismiss. Because if you check your history now, we're just speaking about the Chinese New Year. And there are certain times that in history, for example, 1978, 1978, which was Tuesday, the 7th of February, and that was the year of the horse. Okay, that's 1978. That's the 7th of February. That was the Chinese New Year. You have time when it fell on the 6th of February, which is obviously very close. Like, for example, in 1951, it fell on the 6th of February. They have times that it would fall on the 8th of February as well. But just on the 9th of February, 1986, it fell on the 9th of February. 1989, it fell on the 6th of February again. 1997, which is a very key year, very, very key year, especially for the rise of a lot of young Rastafari. In 1997, the 7th of February was the Chinese New Year. So in other words, in 1997, as Bobo Shanti was celebrating their New Year, it was the same New Year as the Oriental Ancient New Year. It's not just the Chinese New Year, because they're celebrating. A lot of different pockets of people from that side of the world keep up this tradition, whether they're in China or not. In 2008, which was the year of the rat, the 7th of February was the New Year again for China, which again would align with, of course, the Bobo Shanti New Year. And as I said, they have years like where you have the 6th of February, very close, or the 8th of February, just a day before or a day after, and of course the 7th of February falling exactly on it. So what that shows you again, is that there is an obvious connection with, it's not as if King Emmanuel just picked this out of the blue. But what is mystic, the order that King Emmanuel constructed and put together, when we now take our time and dissect it as we keep doing, I mean, the levels of knowledge that you could see was applied to each decision that he made. Man, you have to wonder where he get them knowledge here from. This is the lunar year, the man connecting with it. Remember, man, listen, let's be honest. King Emmanuel is foundation Rastafari. And nobody expect nothing from Rastaman. Just like the Bible says, what good can come out of Nazareth? What good can come out of Nazareth? And I tell you the order that he set up, I just explained to you how the kundalini energy stays inside of you because of how you construct your headpiece and the colors that you wear. And that is King Emmanuel order. We even break down our good scholar, Dr. Lil Africa, how he, in his metaphysics science, show you that Monday, Wednesday, and Friday are fasting days, and Saturdays, the powerful day where the yin yang is perfectly balanced, and we link that to King Emmanuel order again, and of course the understanding of the Sabbath. This is some very, very terrible vibration, even the way that the whole service is constructed, the color scheme that he gives us, and what is not supposed to be worn above what, and these different things. When you go into the science of it, it's deep, deep science. You know what I mean? You're breaking down matter, and you're breaking down atoms and protons and neutrons when you're dealing with King Emmanuel order. So as a little Rasta man from back a wall, I mean, which encyclopedia he was reading, which college, university, how much degrees he have, so, because the knowledge he busting is chemistry. But again, as I just explained, Shanti Deva, who was proclaimed high priest by Nagarjuna. Who is Nagarjuna? According to the mandala of two parts, Nagarjuna shall rise in the 20th century in a tripartite year, the first year after. And we talk about the 1930 coronation, and of course the 1931 constitution. Nagarjuna is Negus Nagaska. The Nega people are the people of the East, the people of East Ethiopia. Listen, the thing deep, So the tiger now, the year of the tiger is now. The year of the tiger is now. The other evening, I'm not a football fan, and I was watching something there, and I didn't even go into the research, and there was a game playing. I don't know exactly which game it was, and an individual posted up something, and they were celebrating the victory of the Bengal Tigers. I said, that is interesting. It was a big thing. And this was just prior to the year of the tiger. So you see, these are what you call the mystics. And that is why we always say, when you look deep into things, sometimes you don't even have to look too deep. Because the Almighty speaks in a silent voice. The Almighty speaks in the simplest of ways. The Almighty speaks in signs, in a song, in a word, in an event, in numbers, in the time, in the temperature, in the basketball score. Trust me. Sometimes you're not aware of it. Let's just suppose it was your 27th birthday. And, someone come and say, hey, happy birthday, Joe. How old are you today? And you're watching basketball. And then you hear the commentator say, well, I mean, the Bulls have been on 27 points for the last 5 minutes. Now, you're 27 today. And somebody asks you, how old are you today? And when they asked you, how old are you today? The person on television said that the Bulls have been on 27 points for the last 5 minutes. Now, a sharp ear would pick it up. You would answer him or say, I'm not going to tell you, or whatever it is. And he may be sharp enough to say, don't worry, I got the answer. Isn't it 27? How did you know? Well, the man on the TV just said 27. Now, what I'm telling you is things that I see all the time, every day. And I'm just showing you, once you know how to balance yourself and listen to yourself, calm yourself, know how to get into yourself, live the yoga, live the tai chi, live the meditation life, then you will become aware of the different signs that happens around us. Because I honestly believe that the Most High communicates with all of us. Maybe not in no more special way than the other, but it is those of us who can pick up what is being said, or can hear the voice, or can see the signs. I would encourage everyone to practice seeing them signs. Yes, we all know of the energy of, for example, you're thinking of someone and then they appear. Or you pick up your phone to call a person and then beep, beep, beep. I just was trying to call you. Yeah, that's one level. And that's a very powerful level, the telekinesis and telepathy, I should say, and telecommunication, really. That's one level. But then there's another level, a very simple level again, where you're speaking of something, and when you look around, you see a truck passing with the same thing you're talking about, maybe as its billboard sign on the side of the truck. And say, hey, look, the shoes I was just telling you about. Well, that's the sign. You're supposed to go and buy it. And trust me, it happens to us all the time. Not it happened to me all the time. It happens to us all the time. But it's us, we got to be able to know how to balance it and look into it. So I just found that Bengal tiger thing. And then when I looked and I saw the whole vibes of the new year being the year of the tiger, I said, wow, this is something else, And of course, yes, as the king says, the Honorable Priest Jeremy, for sure, we're going into a mystic season with the second month of the second day, and the 20 and 2nd. So just a season all within itself, Who's earth strong in this? Fight Babylon King, the second of the second. So that's basically today, in a sense, chapter 38. I like that one. Blessed strong King in all power. And so, yeah, the big man say in Jamaica, it's hum. Yes, see, hum. Yes, hum. And you see, hum and and hum and because you have the different vibrations that you use. And then again, also too, in the what you call it, the hymns that we sing in the Bobo Shanti order, there's a part where we do, well, we call it chorus. It's like the humming, but we say I now, I. So whatever the hymn is, you stop chant you stop singing it, and then you I, whatever the hymn is. So just like the humming, but the I now, because the I is a vibration all to itself. You see the I, man, don't play with the I, Man, I was watching, I don't know if any one of you had a sit down with Bingy Flacco. He was interviewing a good brethren, Ige, and Ige was talking about some vibes there, man, the other day with some of the elders in Jamaica. And he was saying that they had one I think they call him I man, and all he would say is I. And then they have a next one that he's not that harsh, but he says, yes, I and I go up the Aya road, and get some pumpkin guy. And but he now, that one day would interpret for Mr. Aya. Now, I mean, wow, that's the next level they are together. But for sure, we all know that the I is a critical part of Rastafari, because some people always say, boy, Rastafari. I understand that for sure. But don't denounce the I just yet. Take your time. Selassie I. Yes, I. You know what I mean? And IT full, and these things. Because the I have a power. It's really the I. The I and the third eye, it is really the I and the I. And the I and I is the oneness. So when you see man, I tal, and I man, because Rastafari, I very mystic, just like how I tell you about King Emmanuel. It is not just King Emmanuel, man. You just check Rastafari in general. Rastafari bring back the agency without reading a book. Who teach them man to make chalice like that? No man, they may know Indian pipe Rasta. The chalice and Rastaman, when Rastaman started to cook out the clay pot, is not buy, they used to buy them. It's make them and cook out of them. It's now we go and buy them. So there was this innovation. That's why people always want to know, so who teach the Rasta to lax? Who teach the Rasta to do this? Who teach the Rasta to do that? And we are trying to find, oh, it's their man that say do that. Oh, this man that say do that. Oh, they read this and read that. Trust me, it was an inborn spirit, believe me, that came into them elders there that just created this culture. Rastafari is a very solid culture, Man, Rastafari is a very solid culture. That's why I have to give thanks to all them elders there who construct it and balance it in whatever different forms. And you talk about houses and mansions, but this is a very solid culture. It seemed like it was well sit down and constructed from hundreds of years ago. But it's the agency that returned. And believe me, it was a spirit. It was a spirit given to ones that didn't have a teacher and say, hey, this is what it is. And it just creates the Lax movement, the Fire Key movement, Tabernacle movement, and service movement, and Repeater and Kete and Funde and Bass movement. And then again down to the Congress order, man, you can go into it, and Psalms reading and conch shell blowing and how you turn and 7 times the stroke of the drum. Who teach I and I these things here? Who teach I and I to hum? Who teach I and I to say I and I? Then to come and find out with our research how important the I is. If I'm not mistaken, the I is the square root of 1, which is one of the members of the creational number of 3. Yeah, the creational number of 3, which build the pyramids. And of course, the 3 lining up the pyramids of Khufu, Menkara, and the other one. What the third one? No, Khufu, Khafre, and Menkara. Them 3 there, pi, epsilon, and the square root of the one, the I. So the I, chorus. And then chorus now. And as Bobo Shanti, when see chorus, every hymn get a chorus, I, chorus. If you take the C off a chorus, it's chorus again, You didn't want to hear that, did you? I didn't want to hear that. I know. Oh, well, boy, appreciate we're going good. I still going good. If you take the C off of chorus, you get chorus. Chorus. I. Yeah, the I of Horus Rasta. Yeah, but anyway, maybe let's bring it to a conclusion here. So yes, family, as Bobo Shanti, we celebrate the 7th of February. I think this was just kind of to give, the audience, especially those that are, let's just say, young in the faith then. Okay, it could be an elder too. Young in the faith. A better understanding on a secular level, because His Majesty said we have to seek for secular knowledge, it's so you don't just lean on religious belief or religious dogma, to be honest, but you study. So you study biology, you study physics, you study chemistry, you study geography, again, language. If you notice, so many different genre of craft and study of academia we just touched upon here. Throughout the evening, we had to go into anthropology, we had to go into archaeology. I don't think we went into no astronomy tonight, but we had to go into some numerology too, language, just so that you could see and understand it, ancient arts, the yoga technique, and all of these different things. Um, what's the yoga technique called? The hatha yoga. Hathor, and Hathor is one of them women you see doing yoga too. Hathor in Kemet, Hathor, Het Heru is Hathor. And in the yoga tradition, you have the Hathor yoga. I mean, and the same Hathor is also seen as Aset, which is Isis. And Isis again, Aset is Asana. And Asana in the Sanskrit is the throne, and Aset is the throne. And asana is, posture and breathing and the rulership, and it is the asa that sits on the throne. So family, thanks to Shanti Diva. Give thanks for the bass drum that is the bass, which is the breath, the original sound. Give thanks to the 1 2 boom boom, which is the funde, which is the heartbeat. Give thanks to the kete, which is the meditation and how it flows, my family. It is great joy, Give thanks for King Emmanuel Charles Edwards order. Yes, So family, give thanks, give thanks to the life giver and the keeper of light. I will seal it up here for this evening, and just inviting all those who may be with us on the YouTube, visit us on Radio Anu, You don't know the celebration continues there. We always there. Have something nice for you right now there, Radio Anu. Of course, the link is in the description below. Visit the website itself, at least get a sneak preview of the different programs that we have for the young ones, even if you may be saying, because I know, money kind of died and I don't know what money you're talking about. All you have to do is contact us and say, priest, I would like to get an idea of what we are offering for the international homeschool. And believe me, we are right there with you, for sure. And it is something that will definitely strengthen your youth. We have just started the biology edition of the homeschool. Of course, when you enroll, you start from the beginning. Right now, we have already started, in fact, let me show you too, you could even get the introduction. If you email us, I would literally send you a sample of any one of the programs you want to look at. Remember, we do the astronomy, we do the African history and heritage. At the moment, we're doing the biology as well, and all good reviews. All the young ones are definitely joyful and satisfied with the information. The parents are all satisfied. I'm telling you, to be honest, it's just through humility that I don't be, playing whatever testimonies that people give us. It's just because of humility, I'm telling you. But everyone is really elated with the homeschool program, and as you could see, it's very inexpensive for the level of information and knowledge that your young ones are getting from us here at the Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge. So just email us, of course, Priest Isaac Institute at gmail.com. Of course, you get more information on the international homeschool. Again, visit us on the website. Nothing's going on the website, They visit videos we're putting on the website that we're not going to be able to put on the YouTube. So visit, make sure it's a daily thing. Make sure you visit the website every day to see what new video we put up. Make sure you visit Radio Anu to see what's going on. Make sure you tune into the Tiger's Nest every night at 7. So if we're not here live on YouTube, come and make sure you listen to us on the Tiger's Nest tomorrow in the Uprising 5:30. We're right here for Serengeti. It's not a historical program. Serengeti is a motivational program. It's all about affirmation. It's all about meditation. It's all about preparing you for the day. So don't come to hear no religious talking. It's all about understanding yourself and balancing yourself to a higher level. And of course, as I said, tomorrow at 10, we will have redemption healing with the Honorable Empress Naya. Remember, every Monday at 4 p.m. sharp, we have Youth University with the Honorable Princess Akisha Menin and the Honorable Prince Al Masih as well. This is the place to be, Radio Anu International. Give thanks, family. Love and honor, and all is well. It is such a joy. It's as if I don't want to go anywhere. But give thanks for the love. I'm going to be sealing up with the family on the YouTube. Blessed love, and I will continue to reason with the family here on Radio Anu. So to the YouTube family, love and majesty, blessed love.